What up, y'all? Tap in, tap in. You tune into the Real Inward Growth and Development Show. I'm your host with the most, your boy Dub. I'm known around the world as Goombaya. Huh? Stop me when I'm lying. You know what I mean? But tap in, y'all. Yo, this one is going to be a little different today, man. I got a question for y'all, right? And I want y'all to leave it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. But how long do you guys think you should take to work on something? Whether if it's a business, something that you're trying to do, how long do you give it before you give it up and move on to something else? Huh? I was looking at It Is What It Is podcast with Cam and Mace. Shout out to them. Shout out to Cam and Mace, Stack, and all them people over there, right? And I was listening to something where Mace was talking about, and check this out.
I'm not one of those people that put 5 years into something or 10 years like you see at the 76ers. When it comes to a process, at 3 years you should see something. I mean, it only took Jesus 3 years to do what he did. So 3 years is the number. And it says something like that in the Bible. I think is a scripture like if something doesn't happen within 3 years, cut the tree down. So the same way I believe when you got teams and people coming together, I think within 3 years you could see something, because even when LeBron went to your team, Miami, right? The first year they didn't do well. I mean, they did do well, but they came short of the title. The next 2 years, year 2 and 3, they were champions. So it goes on to my purpose. I meant my point.
Okay.
You shouldn't take a long time with people and things not manifest. Like the same way me and Killer got together, within 6 months, we already had millions of dollars on the table. We started working together, and that was just for music. We didn't even take the deal. Then we came back, 6 months later, and he was doing a podcast and somebody else was on it. He said, yo, you should come on as a guest. And within 6 more months, we was at 8 figures. So, and then, 2 years later or a year later, we're doing another deal for even more money. So I'm like, it don't take that long when you're with the right people. If you and a person's energy is genuine, there should be something that happens. And when things don't work out long term, it's just because somebody's agenda changed. You just didn't know it.
All right, so it seems like he basically saying like it shouldn't take a long time if you doing it with a group of people, I guess. I don't know. Um but what about if it's a group or if just your individual self? Does it still remains the same that you should only carve out a specific amount of time that you should be working on it, and when that time expires, should you be done with it? You know what I mean? So that's what I want to know from you guys, man. Leave it in the comments what y'all think, man. Um, he referenced saying that it was in the Bible, right? So, you know, we're gonna look in the Bible and see, or well, I think what he was talking about, right? Like, look at this. Check this out. This is Luke chapter 13, verse 7. Finally, he said to his gardener, I've waited 3 years and it has not been a single fig. Cut it out. You heard? So that's what he's talking about. Even though that reference was really God's patience, it's just saying God's patience is not endless. And he was saying that towards people who hasn't repented. But I get it. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna go into all that. But what I'm saying is it a difference between what you're doing with a group of people? Is it a set amount of time what you're doing with a group of people? Or is it something you're doing as an individual? Does that have a certain set time? You know what I mean? That you either give it, you giving it up. I mean, what y'all think? I think it varies, man. You know, some things take time, man. I mean, it's so many different opinions on it, but what y'all really think? Because Mace coming up with Bible scriptures that kind of support it, even though it's not in the same content. But I get it, what he's saying. You heard what y'all think? There's a lot, there's a lot of opinions when it comes down to that, man. Because a lot of people hold on. You know what I mean?
You ain't ready to put 5 years of grind into anything without making a quarter.
Right.
Don't even start. Sometimes it takes that long to get over the hump. They not ready to put in that work. A lot of people want checks, but bosses cut checks. You got to realize we want the money, but we also got to use the money to make the money. It's really about having that mentality that you ready to work, because that's what it's really all about. The reward come when you get down and you get on your grind. Do not complain about what you didn't get from the work you didn't put in.
I guess when you look at it, it's like if you're doing something with a team, everybody really got to be on call and play ball, you know, because if everybody's not holding up their end of this bargain, then yes, it can hinder the whole project, and how long you're going to put up with that, I guess. But when it's you individually doing something, you know, it's really on. It's even with a team. I think like you really gotta adjust. You gotta put in the work. Sometimes you may have something that's really dope, and God start moving pieces around. Like you really got something dope, but sometimes you would just be like either the atmosphere is wrong or that period in your life is just wrong, and you either come back to it or it'll work itself out. But do you give it like a certain amount of time? Is basically my question. When it comes down to either individual or even the group, or it's the same for both. You dig? Like real talk, like I remember when Noriega, right? He do Drink Champs. Y'all probably heard of him, right? I remember when he was doing he had a part he was doing podcasting and all that stuff years ago. You know what I mean? It was called 57th Ave. Now it's Drink Champs. Like sometimes I don't know if you can go off of like a 3-year thing or a 5-year thing. Sometimes it takes 10 years for overnight success, B. You heard? See, this day and age, man, it's like if things ain't happening fast enough, people put it aside. But then sometimes people don't see the writing on the wall, you know? So my thing is, where's the middle ground at and what you can really stand on? You're like, do you take more time when you're doing it dolo? Or do if you're doing it with a group, you giving it a specific amount of time, and if that don't reach around this time, you know what I mean? You wiping your hands with it. Huh? But leave it in the comments, y'all, man. I'm really interested into hearing what you guys got to say. You know what I mean? Until next time. Peace. Your boy.
You have to be patient. You don't gotta make no moves. You ain't playing checkers, you playing chess. It take years for some moves to be made. God will show you. If you want to know, just pray. Get close to him. God, show me. Show me. Now, you better be strong if he show you.